Hi, everyone. This is Alan Rosinski, Metro Manhattan office space. I get phone calls every week from companies that are looking for space, and they're requesting certain amenities. Um, some of them want air-conditioned quarters. Central air conditioning is important for some. ADA compliant bathrooms, attended lobbies. Some of them really don't care about any of that, but what they want is they want an industrial style space. They want a space which is good for tech companies, open plan collaborative space with high ceilings, large windows, kind of an industrial style space. Maybe pricing is more important for them. And most of them are unfamiliar with the rating system for commercial properties. And that really comes into play. And as a business, as a consumer, it's a good thing to know about, because if you're ever in a position where you're looking for space for your business, whether it's flex space, co-working space, or office space, and you find yourself in contact with a leasing agent, a tenant rep broker, it's a good thing to be able to tell them, well, look, I don't need an A space, I want an industrial style C space. Or, I want a lot of amenities, but get me a good B building, which is going to have most of the amenities of an A building. This, I think, is hopefully, it's practical information that I would like you to know about. It could come in handy, and it could save you money in the future. So I'd like to take a few moments to describe how commercial buildings are categorized. And just bear in mind that this will have a lot of effect, be very relevant for office tenants, whether you're signing a direct lease with a landlord or whether you're going into a co-working or flex space environment. Because the WeWorks, the Reguses, the Yards, they're direct tenants of office buildings, and some of them are in C buildings, B buildings, and A buildings. So I'd like to go through the differences. Makes sense, but the A buildings are the best buildings. They have most in the way of amenities. Often they have on-site property management, high-speed elevators. The infrastructure of these buildings is constantly upgraded. Quarters will be generally air-conditioned. They have very high-tech elevators, high-level security. Lobbies are generally attended 24/7 with a security sign-in. The spaces themselves have central air conditioning. Also in the A buildings, the landlords tend to offer very high-quality pre-builts, or they'll build the space to a tenant standard if the spaces are offered as raw. I'm saying this generally. It can vary from building to building. C buildings, which are the most basic buildings, tend to be older buildings. They're side street buildings. They're not going to have the most modern infrastructure. They may not have multiple elevators. But the C buildings can be very architecturally interesting. They tend to be side street loft buildings, and you may run into some kind of cool spaces with skylights, brick walls, oversized windows, concrete floors, and that to some extent may make up for the reduced amenities you would have in a C. And some Cs have been upgraded also. And you can get some really good deals on C buildings because sometimes the landlords have built out individual spaces to a very high standard, and they can feel like a higher quality space than say a C building, kind of the wrong term, higher quality, but you can have a high standard build out in a C building. A B building is kind of middle of the road. They don't have the bells and whistles of an A building. Maybe the quarters aren't air conditioned, but you have very, very presentable attended lobbies. But it's something to choose for. One thing which is important to understand is sort of this rating system is very, very fluid. As a broker, I have seen certain C buildings which feel like a better B building, and I've seen certain A buildings which feel more like B buildings. So again, it's sort of fluid. The rules are very, very flexible. You can have a much older building which is actually an A. Like examples of that are the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, and you can also have some older buildings, newer buildings, which are not necessarily A buildings, sort of smaller, modern architecture on side streets, and they're not necessarily A's. But the real value you're going to get here, it's important if you're looking for space to speak with a broker, because a broker is going to know where the deals are. And, you know, if they've been running around for many years, like frankly I have, they're going to know which buildings are going to offer the better value. In terms of economics, the C's used to be the least expensive, but what's happened in the last 10 years with the voracious demand for loft space, which are generally C buildings, the price of the C's has gone up, which, you know, in certain cases it really exceeds B buildings, and it's comparable. The asking rents for C buildings can be comparable to certain A buildings in certain budget A neighborhoods, like the financial district of Lower Manhattan. A buildings in Manhattan can range really from about $55 a square foot to $120, $130 a square foot. The C buildings generally start at about $36, $37 a square foot. Now, bear in mind that might be a back space. It may not be the most desirable space in a C building, but you can get deals on C buildings for around $36, $37 a square foot with a bit of luck. I would say the B buildings are anywhere from maybe $47 to $48 a square foot to $70 a square foot. Above that kind of puts you in A building categories. So I hope if you're looking for space, this is somewhat helpful. You're going to understand the rating system that the commercial real estate industry uses to classify buildings, and you're going to know what to ask for when it comes time to find a space. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope this has been helpful to you, or will be helpful to you at some point in the future. Until the next time.